pruning. In 2035, Oregon stands as a model for the radical reorganization of society that has swept across the United States. The state, like the nation, teetered on the brink of environmental and societal collapse in the late 2020s. Governing institutions had been captured by corrupt elites in the late 2020s, and it took a series of political, economic, and environmental crises to converge before the will to accept a profoundly new paradigm was possible. Already used to a more heavy-handed government and reduction in basic freedoms, people embraced a new, necessary, and austere social contract that prioritizes sustainability and collective well-being over individual freedoms. The state's economy is tightly regulated, with resource allocation and production quotas set by the central authority. Citizens are highly incentivized to take jobs based on societal needs and personal aptitudes, with a focus on essential services and environmental restoration. Luxury goods are expensive and culturally stigmatized, discouraging excessive consumption. Any sign of association with previous political regimes is shunned. Portland, once a symbol of quirky individualism, now exemplifies efficient urban planning. High-density mixed-use buildings dominate the cityscape, connected by an extensive public transportation network. In places like Eugene and Bend, private vehicle ownership is becoming rare, with most citizens relying on shared electric vehicles and bicycles for personal transport. Media consumption and information streams are regulated to reduce the negative impacts of misinformation and emotional stress, especially in young people. In the mid-20s, the U.S. followed Australia and banned social media for anyone under 16, and Oregon encourages under 18s to avoid these platforms. But most people have acculturated to the changes and don't see them as oppressive. Individual and community energy use is monitored, and penalties are assessed to those who do not meet waste and energy reduction requirements. Oregon's famous forests and coastlines are now carefully managed sanctuaries with access strictly controlled to allow for regeneration. Large-scale rewilding projects have reintroduced native species and restored ecosystems across the state, though at the cost of limiting human access to many formerly public lands. Some people, calling themselves yes-passers, have forced the government to confront the unintended human impact of forbidden access to public lands. Freedom of movement is a major political issue in the state, and signs and bumper stickers emblazoned with TLIYL, TLIML, "This land is your land, this land is my land," can be seen everywhere. Governance is hierarchical and technocratic, with decisions made by a council of experts based on scientific data, AI planners, and long-term sustainability goals. While local communities have some autonomy in implementation, major policies and enforcement frameworks are set at state and national levels. A small elite class of politicians, scientists, and essential industry leaders enjoy greater privileges justified as necessary for effective governance and innovation. This disparity, though far less extreme than in the past, remains a source of tension. Education and healthcare are universal and subsidized, but tightly controlled by the state. Curricula emphasize environmental stewardship, civic responsibility, and practical skills. Family planning is strongly encouraged, with incentives for smaller families and penalties for exceeding population quotas, though many flout these penalties and threats. Despite the restrictions and pockets of nonviolent resistance, most Oregonians acknowledge the necessity of this new way of life. The memories of environmental disasters and social upheaval that preceded this era serve as a constant reminder of the alternative. While individual freedoms have been curtailed, there's a growing sense of collective purpose and a renewed hope for a sustainable future.